So when you originally came in, because you were a boomerang, right? You came in, you worked with them, then you
Yeah.
left, then you came back, and then you took ownership. Was the organization of that mindset that, they were pretty open to taking business, and it was like, if we can help, we'll try, versus no, we're the very best at this. Was that the mindset of the previous owners?
It was, and for a few years, I mean, we tripled top line, more than doubled people, and it was just easy. Work was just coming in, we were stacking it up. It was
High
mostly
times.
lower risk, but we did have some wrong fit, and those were, noisy, but we weren't it was just coming so fast, and then if any one little thing slows it down, that's where all those things get exposed, or, whether it's a wrong fit, wrong seat on the bus, or an economic thing happens, or a client gets acquired, and then you have to reevaluate.
Yeah.
So high growth
And
but high risk.
right. How did you identify, or did the owners identify you as the leader? And how did that tell us about just that succession plan? Because I think a lot of our listeners have had organizations for a long time. We talk about the silver tsunami. There's a whole lot of people who have built up companies and don't know where it goes next. So, talk about that process just so we can understand what that was like.
Yeah, I'd worked my way from kind of leading, creating a new team and a new kind of functional area, as I mentioned when I came in initially. But when I came back, we were intentional about talking about what my role was, what my 5-year personal plan was, and longer term of the business. And then we got busy and distracted by that 3-year span of just crazy growth. But then I realized, as I was leading new business, not as a salesperson, but as the VP of strategy, that I was kind of working against myself for evaluations and things like that down the road. So the thought initially was, while we're not in a rush, let's start talking about it now, and what that might look like if it's a 10-year plan, or what equity might look like if there's a discount on the front end and then full on the back end, or what. But we didn't know enough about how a lot of those deals get structured. So we brought in a firm with industry expertise that we knew and trusted, and knows the agency model, and they helped coach us through that. But it was definitely interesting because we, on the seller side, had to figure out, am I ready? Is this the right deal? And on my side, had to figure out, okay, well, I've done all the right things in terms of 401k and IRA. That
Hmm.
doesn't leave me with a lot of liquid cash to make this happen, and to be coached through some of the financing options and ways to make things happen too, and deal structure. So without getting into some of the confidential specifics, I can definitely talk about having that conversation earlier with eyes wide open for everyone on both sides is super important, because I've watched deals that seemed like the perfect fit in terms of people, but some of the logistics just didn't work, because they were too late, or there was too much pressure, and decisions that could have been made 3 to 5 years earlier weren't.
Yeah, I agree. We do so much work around M&A and helping pre-due diligence, right? How do you help a company make sure that they are at the right value so they're in a power position? What's interesting is you were recognizing as an employee that you actually had a power position. You were doing really, really good work for the firm, and that increases the value. And so smart of you to bring it up when you did, but it just allows everybody to get on the same page. And that's
Yeah.
an awfully big part of it, right?